This is Booked for Drama, where stories burn, hearts break, the tea is always hot and never a part 2. Today we're diving into Love Brain Brother Gave Up the Whole Family to Get a Daughter. Let's go. Chapter 1. My brother skipped my birthday party to be with his girlfriend. To make it up to me, he offered to buy me a Givenchy Starry Sky necklace. I grudgingly accepted his apology. But that very day, his girlfriend added me on Snapchat. And she wasted no time being rude. Seriously, no shame? How dare you take a gift from my boyfriend? Every dollar he earns is mine. Also, women just get married eventually, right? All that schooling? Useless. Just drop out, stop bleeding the family dry. I was floored. I'd never met anyone so brazen. I instantly shoved my phone in Ryan's face. Look at the trash mouth you found for yourself. Brittany's messages kept coming. Back where I grew up, girls your age already have a couple of kids. Get married, stop freeloading off your family. All the money Ryan makes, even your parents' money, it's all going to be mine eventually. You need to understand, every penny you spend now means one less penny for me in the future. Ryan, my brother, stared at the screen, shocked. After a moment, he scratched his head awkwardly. Maybe there's some misunderstanding? Misunderstanding? Ryan, are you totally blinded by love? Brittany is clearly twisted. I stared at my brother like he was a complete idiot. Ryan had always been a bit wishy-washy and painfully introverted since we were kids. Because of his personality, he barely had any friends, let alone a girlfriend. He was almost 30, and this was his first relationship ever. Naturally, our entire family was beyond thrilled. Mom and Dad booked overnight flights, ready to fly in from overseas to meet his future wife. I even took time off school just to come back. Ever since he started dating, Ryan wouldn't stop raving about how amazing Brittany was. He swore up and down that we'd all adore her. I thought Ryan was about to drop some amazing news, a real game changer. Turns out, he just dragged in a massive train wreck. The necklace he'd given me was still around my neck, feeling scorching hot and glaringly obvious. Chloe, please, just forgive your future sister-in-law. She didn't do anything wrong, it's just the toxic environment she grew up in that twisted her views. I'll talk to her, just don't be mad. Ryan tried to smooth things over, speaking gently on Brittany's behalf. When I stayed silent, he held up 3 fingers, swearing on it. I swear, I'll never make my favorite, most adorable sister mad again. I snorted out a laugh. Ryan finally relaxed when he saw my attitude soften. Chloe, please don't tell Mom and Dad about this, okay? I don't want to ruin Brittany's impression with them. I nodded. I wasn't about to badmouth her right away. Ryan continued, tomorrow, I'll make her apologize to you in person. You have to forgive her, okay? I nodded again. As long as she recognized her mistake and apologized sincerely, I could pretend nothing happened. Ryan drove me to Brittany's place. He even said Brittany felt really bad and wanted to cook for me as an apology. I thought, sounds somewhat promising. We pulled up to a run-down, older apartment complex in a less than desirable neighborhood. The moment I stepped out of the passenger seat, someone shoved me. I lost my balance and tumbled to the ground. Brittany glared down at me. Don't you know the passenger seat is for the girlfriend only? How dare you sit there? My head hit the car door, and I saw stars. Brittany's long fingernails practically poked my eyes. Are you blind? It even says wife's seat on the dashboard. Did you just ignore everything I told you yesterday? Seriously, you're taking my kindness for granted. I'd seen it, but I get motion sickness. And honestly, I didn't see what was wrong with a sister sitting in her brother's passenger seat. Ryan flinched, quickly pulling Brittany back. Brittany, don't lay a hand on her. What, are you going to stop me? Brittany flung Ryan's hand away. She's just a brat. Why should she get to spend your money on a necklace and steal my seat? She's such a spendthrift, she'll bleed the family dry. I struggled to push myself up, my forehead throbbing. You pushed me? Why wouldn't I? She stood there, hands on her hips, and spat at me in contempt. Then, without warning, she lunged, yanking the necklace hard from my neck. Give it to me. Why is a student like you wearing something so expensive? You're so vain, Brittany demanded, as if it were her right. Chapter 2. The cold chain tightened around my throat. To avoid provoking her, I hadn't even worn the necklace Ryan bought me. I yelled, I bought this myself. You bought it yourself? Aren't you still spending the family's money? The necklace snapped in her hand. Brittany's eyes were filled with nothing but malice and greed. The family's money is for me and Ryan. How dare you be so extravagant? Brittany, Ryan's voice rose as he spun her around. You promised me you'd apologize to my sister. Brittany's eyes immediately welled up, tears streaming down her face. I humbled myself to cook for her and apologize, and she intentionally sat in my passenger seat to provoke me. Ryan, you're my boyfriend. Are you helping me or helping her? At that, Ryan's demeanor instantly softened. He immediately turned to me, trying to appease me. Chloe, don't mind her. Brittany's just a little stressed. Let's just go inside and eat. She made soup. I looked at Ryan's evasive gaze, a lump forming in my throat. Was this really the brother who usually doted on me and protected me? Brittany smugly tilted her chin, eyeing me disdainfully. It wasn't until I got to her place that I understood what sincere apology meant. On the dining table sat a sad plate of plain boiled cabbage and a watery egg drop soup with barely any egg. I looked at Ryan, utterly incredulous. Didn't he say he'd gone shopping for groceries first thing in the morning and spent ages preparing? Ryan scratched his head awkwardly, saying nothing. Brittany slammed the forks hard onto the table in front of me. Eat up, don't be picky. It's an honor to eat my cooking. I honestly couldn't bring myself to touch my fork. Her expression hardened. She picked up the bowl of soup and flung it at me. Not eating, huh? You're getting too comfortable. The scorching hot soup splashed all over my skirt, sticky egg bits everywhere. Luckily, I dodged in time, so it didn't hit my face. Ryan flinched. He jumped up to grab tissues and help me clean myself. Brittany, however, just added fuel to the fire. Stop faking it, it wasn't that hot. You think you're some pampered princess? I'd been spoiled by my parents since childhood. I'd never endured such humiliation. I grabbed the bowl of cabbage on the table, intending to throw it. Ryan was quick, his hand shooting out to grab mine firmly. Chloe, calm down. Ryan's grip was strong, I couldn't break free. Please, for me, okay? Don't hold it against Brittany. Her parents didn't love her, they were abusive when she was little, that's why her temper is a bit short. That's no excuse for her to bully people, I bit out. Ryan still didn't let go. I could only watch as Brittany walked closer, poking my face with her greasy finger. Ryan and I are going to be a family in the future. You think he'll take your side? Dream on. You better be smart and promise you'll never spend a single penny of Ryan's money again. And you better drop out of school. Tuition is such a waste of money, or else I'll make sure you can never show your face in front of your classmates. I snapped my head towards Ryan. He avoided my gaze again. Chloe, your sister-in-law means no harm. It felt like something was lodged in my chest, heavy and bitter. I found a burst of strength and violently yanked my hand free from Ryan's grip. I stared into Ryan's eyes, enunciating each word. You're such a wonderful brother. As I turned to leave, Brittany taunted me from behind. Oh, by the way, your parents sent you a birthday gift the other day, I already opened it. It's a dress, looks pretty expensive. I'll keep it, I have a reunion next week. My steps faltered. When I looked back, I saw Brittany greedily fiddling with the princess dress Mom and Dad had sent Ryan, looking like he wanted to say something, but in the end, he said nothing, just a barely audible sigh. Chapter 3. This time, I didn't cover for Ryan. I got home and told Mom and Dad everything, exactly as it happened. Mom was heartbroken. My precious daughter, we've never even raised our voice at you, and she dared to do that? That boy, Ryan, he's so foolish. When we get home, we'll give him a good beating. Mom and Dad were furious. Ryan didn't come home until very late. His eyes were bloodshot. I guessed Mom and Dad must have chewed him out over the phone. Ryan gritted his teeth, stubbornly looking at me without speaking. I sighed. Ryan, what were you thinking today? Chloe, I finally found someone I like. Why can't you be more understanding? Ryan's gaze was full of blame and displeasure. He shook his head slightly. And you told Mom and Dad? How is Brittany supposed to get along with them now? I stared at my brother, stunned. How could he say something like that? Ryan continued. Mom and Dad just called me. They cursed me out for ages. Brittany heard everything. She was crying. Mom and Dad arrived home 2 days later. Ryan completely dropped his defiant facade in front of them, obediently admitting his mistakes. To appease Mom and Dad, he even grabbed my hand and slapped his own face with it. All three of us were stunned, seeing his bloodshot eyes. Families are easily softened, and they forgave him for the most part almost immediately. Mom and Dad demanded Ryan break up with Brittany. Ryan didn't answer. He just kept kneeling, begging for forgiveness. A week after Mom and Dad came home, Ryan showed up with Brittany without a word. Ryan grinned. Mom, Dad, Brittany said she wanted to meet you. Brittany wore a simple, elegant cotton dress, her hair in a high ponytail, with only light makeup. As she entered, she kept her head slightly bowed, looking incredibly timid. I almost didn't recognize her. Mr. and Mrs. Davis, Chloe, hello. She spoke softly, the picture of a gentlewoman. My parents didn't like Brittany. But guests were at the door, so they couldn't just turn them away. Mom shot Ryan a displeased glance. Clearly, she wasn't happy about him bringing someone home without warning. But Mom and Dad still played the good hosts. Mom cooked a table full of dishes, and Dad even brought out his prized wine. I sat on the sofa watching, sighing inwardly. Mom and Dad were still giving Ryan enough face. At the dinner table, Brittany completely changed her attitude, becoming incredibly attentive. She kept serving Mom and Dad food. Mr. Davis, this fish is light. Ryan said your blood pressure is a bit high, so light food is perfect for you. Then she turned and served Mom a piece of braised pork. Mrs. Davis, your skin is amazing. My parents still kept poker faces, but they had relaxed slightly. Ryan watched from the side, his eyes full of smugness, as if saying, see? My girlfriend is so thoughtful. I sighed and kept eating. I knew my parents. They might seem polite on the surface, but that was just their good upbringing. They loved me the most. Knowing how I'd been treated, there was no way Mom and Dad would accept Brittany as their daughter-in-law. Brittany even served me some food. Chloe, eat more, you're too thin. I didn't respond. Instead, I picked up the food she'd served me and put it in Ryan's bowl. Brittany's eyes instantly turned red. Chloe, do you really hate me that much? We're going to be family, and families shouldn't hold grudges overnight. Ryan immediately jumped in. Chloe, you're going too far this time. Suddenly, the atmosphere in the living room turned awkward. Mom and Dad stopped what they were doing and looked at Ryan in unison. Ryan's eyes darted around. I just think Chloe isn't being fair. Brittany didn't sense the shift in atmosphere. Her eyes gleamed with undisguised calculation. I chuckled to myself. She was finally dropping the act. After dinner, Brittany volunteered to wash the dishes. I could hear the water running and her softly whispering to Ryan. Your parents seem pretty easy to handle. This house must be expensive. It's a villa in the city center. When we get married, make them pay for more. After they finished the dishes, Dad put down his teacup and said coolly, you're a clever girl, aren't you? Brittany thought she was being complimented and grinned. Ryan didn't catch the hidden meaning and cheerfully nodded. Yeah, Brittany's really sensible. Mom's smile was barely held together. I chuckled aloud. So, you two are getting married? Chapter 4. Brittany nodded. Of course, we're planning to get married. She exchanged a knowing look and smile with Ryan. The family dinner concluded then and there. Before Brittany left, she didn't forget to bump my arm when no one was looking. She lowered her voice to a whisper. Soon, everything in this house will be mine. You just watch. After Brittany left, Mom and Dad blew up. But Ryan said one thing that silenced the whole room. Brittany's pregnant. This is your first grandchild. Brittany thought she was carrying a golden ticket, and she became even more arrogant. Ryan even defied his parents, taking Brittany to secretly register their marriage without telling them. By the time we found out, it was too late. Mom was so angry she nearly fainted. Dad slapped Ryan hard. You fool. Ryan stuck his neck out stubbornly. I'm not wrong. I know Chloe is smarter than me, that's why you've always favored her more. From childhood until now, no one has ever truly chosen me. Brittany is the only one who loves me. Do you know, that day she cooked me a bowl of plain rice porridge. It was the first time I felt the warmth of a home. I listened, utterly stunned. My brother had become that pathetic. Mom and Dad remained firm. But Brittany was shameless. Even knowing Mom and Dad disliked her, she forcibly moved all her luggage into the house. Mom, Dad, and I rushed home when we found out. By the time we arrived, the house was completely transformed, filled with Brittany's things. Seeing us, she wasn't flustered at all. She even carried herself like the lady of the house. Brittany nonchalantly stirred her bird's nest soup with a spoon. Oh, you're here. This stuff is expensive. You rich people sure know how to enjoy yourselves. None of us bothered to respond to her. Suddenly, she changed the subject. I really like this house. You should transfer the title to my name. And all the money you two old people have in the bank, transfer it to my card too. I'll keep it safe for you. Ryan was in the bathroom at the moment. Dad's face instantly darkened. Get out. You're not welcome here. Brittany didn't get angry. Don't be mad, now. Ryan and I are getting married, of course, your parents should help us out. And Chloe, she's a girl, she'll get married sooner or later. No need to study so much. You should go help her drop out. Better to save that money to raise a child for me and Ryan. I rolled my eyes at her. Are you dreaming? Brittany looked utterly righteous. Am I wrong? You have so much money, isn't it a waste to give it to this brat? What I'm carrying in my belly is the golden heir who will continue the Davis family line. Ryan emerged from the bathroom. He saw Mom and Dad's ashen faces and suddenly bowed deeply to them. Dad, Mom, please don't be angry. Brittany means no harm, she's just very direct. Mom was trembling all over, her face pale. She pointed at the front door. Get out, both of you, get out. Brittany shrieked. Why should we? I'm willing to discuss this with you, that's me giving you respect. Ryan, they're deliberately making things difficult for me. Are you going to do something about it? Or else, I'm not marrying you. Ryan rushed to appease her. Don't be mad, I'll talk to them properly. Watching my brother like this, my heart turned cold. Mom clutched her chest, her face as white as a sheet. Mom's health was never good, how could she endure such a shock? Mom, I rushed forward, catching Mom as she collapsed. Instantly, the house descended into chaos. Mom didn't wake up until the next day. Dad and I stood vigil by her bedside. Ryan only came to look at Mom once, then left the hospital, citing the need to care for Brittany, the pregnant woman. Mom held my hand, her voice hoarse. Chloe, your brother, I used to think he was just a bit soft, but now I know he's completely lost, beyond saving. Dad sat by the bed, taking a deep breath. He pulled a document from his briefcase. My dear, this is the company's equity transfer agreement. Your mom and I have already signed it. From now on, you are the company's sole successor. Chapter 5. I was stunned. Mom, Dad, my parents loved me dearly. But they were still very traditional. No matter how poorly Ryan performed, they couldn't bring themselves to hand over the company to me. Plus, I was still just a student. Mom and Dad always said, let's wait. Perhaps Ryan would one day be able to stand on his own, or perhaps they could wait until I was older and more mature. Your brother is unreliable. Dad looked at me, his eyes more determined than I'd ever seen them. We used to think that since you were a girl, you just needed to be happy every day and not bear too many burdens. We were too narrow-minded, my dear. Mom wiped a tear, choking up. You've always been strong-willed and quick to learn since childhood. This family will depend on you now. Just don't be like your brother, letting people exploit you and then thanking them for it. I took the transfer agreement, my heart was heavy. My parents had many white hairs at their temples. My mind flashed back to Ryan's mindless defense of Brittany just moments ago. I knew, this family was completely different now. Sunlight streamed in, falling on Mom's still pale face. Dad gently stroked my head and slowly spoke. My dear Chloe, you're only 19, still too young. Your mom and I can help you carry the burden of this family now. But when we're old, you'll have to stand on your own. I murmured, okay, and snuggled into Mom's embrace. Ryan didn't come home until Mom was discharged from the hospital. I saw on his ins that he'd gone back to Brittany's rural hometown with her. I returned to school. One day, my roommate frantically told me, Chloe, hurry to Professor Clark's office. Your family said they want you to drop out. My mind buzzed. Drop out? It had to be Brittany. She really wouldn't give up, would she? When I arrived at Professor Clark's office, I saw Brittany, a middle-aged woman, and a man in his 30s or 40s. From the moment I appeared, the man's eyes were glued to me. I frowned. Before I could say anything, Professor Clark spoke first. Chloe, is this your sister-in-law? Sort of. Reluctantly, I admitted it. She'd registered their marriage, so technically, she was. Brittany shot me a sidelong glance. I've already spoken to your teacher about you dropping out. Pack your bags and come home with us. She pulled the man closer. Oh, by the way, this is my older cousin, Kevin. He served in the military years ago and hasn't married yet. I think you two are a perfect match. Once you get married, we'll be an even closer family. The middle-aged woman was Brittany's mom, Brenda. Brenda put her hands on her hips and chimed in, her triangular eyes scrutinizing me up and down. My Brittany is carrying the Davis family's golden heir now, so is his sister. You should be sensible and drop out early to get married. Kevin, Brittany's older cousin, took a half step closer to me. His greedy gaze stuck to me. She's really beautiful, I agree to marry you. I own a hardware store in town, and I've got a 2-story villa back in the countryside. Marry me, and I guarantee you'll live a good life. Listening to him, my stomach churned. I looked at Brittany. Aren't you shameless enough? Forcing me to drop out isn't enough. Now you're audaciously trying to arrange my marriage? What's wrong with arranged marriages? Back in our village, parents' word is law for marriage. Brenda shoved her hand almost into my face. Besides, Kevin is such a good man. Marry him, and you'll have someone to rely on. Professor Clark, listening from the side, couldn't take it anymore. Arranged marriages aren't common anymore. If you force her, it's illegal. And Chloe is an excellent student, it would be a waste for her to drop out. Chapter 6. What's so wasted about it? Brittany sneered at Professor Clark. She thought, I only went to a vocational school because it was cheap, and I turned out fine. What's the point of studying so much? You're just going to get married anyway, right? I looked at their ugly faces and laughed aloud. Get out, or I'm calling the police. Kevin rubbed his hands together, not taking my words seriously. I knew you'd look down on us country folk. But I promise I'll be good to you, and your family's money. Shut up, who are you to covet my family's money? I snapped, cutting off Kevin's fantasies. Brenda immediately lunged to hit me. Professor Clark quickly blocked her. Brittany, held back, still shrieked at me. You little b***tch, you're taking my kindness for granted. My Brittany is carrying your family's heir, all your family's money is ours. You're acting so arrogant now, but you'll see what's coming to you. Kevin wasn't having it. He pushed Brenda. Don't you dare bully my woman. Quite a few students had gathered around to watch the spectacle. I clenched my fists, staring hard at Brittany. Brittany met my gaze, a defiant smirk on her face. Chloe, you can't win against me. Either you pack your bags and come with us now, or I'll tell the whole school you have a messed up private life. I didn't speak, but suddenly looked up. The coldness and ferocity in my eyes made her next words catch in her throat. I pulled out my phone, dialed my lawyer, Mr. Thompson, right in front of them, and put it on speaker. Mr. Thompson, could you come to the school, please? Brenda completely disregarded me. No one can help you, not even your parents. My daughter is carrying your family's eldest grandson. Several school security guards arrived. Brittany couldn't touch me, so she just glared at me resentfully. While waiting for the lawyer, I asked Brittany, does my brother know you're causing a scene at my school? So what if he knows? He won't blame me. Brittany was so sure of herself. I nodded thoughtfully, then sent a message to Ryan, detailing the situation here. I wanted to give my brother one more chance. I thought, as long as he could finally see Brittany's selfishness and greed, and stood by me, I could let bygones be bygones. I thought, as long as he apologized to me now, we could still be siblings. But the chat box repeatedly showed, typing, but no message ever came through. Less than half an hour later, Mr. Thompson arrived. He was followed by several police officers. Mr. Thompson had an imposing presence. He swept his gaze over Brittany and her family, then sternly addressed her. Ms. Liu, please leave the school immediately with your family, or I will file a lawsuit against you on behalf of my client for disturbing the peace. The police officers were understanding the situation and taking notes. Brittany started to panic. You wouldn't dare? I'm carrying the Davis family's eldest grandson. Mr. Thompson ignored her, turning to me. Miss Chloe, I've found some information. Ms. Liu, last month, privately misappropriated $280,000 from the Davis family accounts to purchase luxury goods, and borrowed $1,200,000 externally using the Davis family name. As each item was listed, Brittany's face went white. Kevin and Brenda sensed trouble and tried to flee. But they were stopped by the police. A police officer sternly said, "Excuse me, someone has reported you for disturbing the peace. You'll have to come with us." It wasn't over yet. Mr. Thompson paused, then handed a legal letter to Brittany. This is a lawyer's letter. You have 1 week to return all the funds and issue a public apology. Otherwise, we will pursue legal action against you. Brittany stared at me in shock. Her mom was still wailing and screaming, being half dragged out by the police, cursing at me. Kevin was like a quail, repeatedly muttering that he was innocent. After they left, the office finally fell silent. Professor Clark sighed in relief. It's good that everything's okay, good that everything's okay. Chapter 7. That weekend, I went home. Dad was sitting in the living room, sipping tea. Seeing me return, he put down his cup. You handled that well this time, with grace and logic. I sighed and sat beside him. But Ryan, don't worry about him anymore. Dad rubbed his temples tiredly. He moved out yesterday, said he wanted to live with Brittany and live a good life with her. And, your brother voluntarily took responsibility for all those things. He completely cleared Brittany and her family. I fell silent. Ryan really was a brick wall. Mom came over and patted my hand, trying to comfort me. I leaned on Mom's shoulder, looking at the sunset outside the window. Not only had my brother shouldered all the blame alone, but he'd also used his own money to pay Brittany's debts. The day I dropped the charges, Ryan and I met. He looked incredibly tired. Chloe, we didn't need to go this far. We didn't, I pressed closer to him. Ryan, I barely recognize you anymore. Ryan turned his head, avoiding my gaze. His voice was muffled. I just want to live a good life with her, a normal life. A normal life? I scoffed. I pointed to the designer streetwear Ryan was wearing. That one ordinary top alone cost over $10,000. What kind of normal person could afford that lifestyle? Ryan, you're a rich kid who's lived in a golden cage his entire life. How could you live a normal life? Don't you dare look down on me. Ryan suddenly looked up. I'm not fighting you for the company's inheritance. You should be happy, Chloe. Brittany is just emotional because she's pregnant, that's all. Can't you be more generous? I looked at my brother and suddenly smiled. Fighting me? Ryan, it's not you fighting me. You're 30 years old, and Dad has never let you into the company's core management. Do you know why? Ryan frowned impatiently. He didn't think it mattered. Because I didn't want to manage it. Ryan replied, as if it were obvious. He was the only male heir, so the company rightfully belonged to him. He just didn't feel like learning how to manage a company. He figured, at worst, I could be the manager. And he would be the nominal chairman, holding the largest share of the company. Essentially, he'd hire me, his own sister, as a professional manager to run the company for him. Ryan moved out and lived a relatively good life with Brittany for a while. With the annual dividends from the company, Ryan could still afford a comfortable lifestyle for himself and Brittany. And Brittany, after that incident, had quieted down considerably. She finally understood that I wasn't someone to be trifled with. However, she would still occasionally try to provoke me on Snapchat. Your brother is so good to me. I said a big diamond would look nice, and he bought me a $5 million pink diamond. You can act all high and mighty now, but once your brother officially takes over the company, I'll make you regret it. You bought another necklace? Who gave you the right to waste money like that? I didn't reply to any of them. I just screenshotted them all and forwarded them to Ryan. Most of the time, Ryan pretended not to see them. Occasionally, he would try to comfort me with nonsense like, your sister-in-law is emotional during pregnancy, don't hold it against her. Ryan and Brittany's good days didn't last long. My status as heir was publicly announced. Mom and Dad specifically held a press conference for this, making my identity public. The flashbulbs at the press conference were relentless. Mom held my hand, giving me encouragement. Dad stood up, grasping the microphone. I announced that the future head of Davis Corp. Will be my youngest daughter, Chloe Davis. Chapter 8. The venue instantly erupted in an uproar. Reporters eagerly questioned, Mr. Davis, why did you suddenly choose your daughter as your successor? Chloe is only a 19-year-old student, isn't this decision too rash? Why isn't your eldest son going into business? Is he incapable, or is there some other hidden reason? Dad didn't answer immediately. He turned to look at me, his eyes filled with trust, pride, and affection. My daughter is more suited to inherit everything I have than anyone else. As soon as the press conference ended, my phone exploded. Brittany's calls and messages bombarded me like death threats. I promptly blocked her. Ryan's call came through immediately after. The moment I answered, his furious roar shook the phone. Chloe, what have you done? How could Mom and Dad give the company to *you? Why not? My expression was calm. I had been brought up by my parents since childhood, following them to learn about business. When I was 16, a casual proposal I made doubled the company's beverage sales for the entire year. When I was 18, I successfully secured a project that even Dad found difficult. I spoke slowly. Ryan, you came into this world with Mom and Dad's highest expectations. They gave you 30 years. But even now, you can't even understand the company's annual report. What makes you think you can inherit it? My brother was originally groomed to be the heir. It was only later, when they saw that he was truly unsuited for business, that I came into the picture. I was Mom and Dad's chosen backup heir after they became disappointed with my brother. I always knew that, and from a young age, I also knew I was ambitious. I was never content with Dad's requirement that I properly assist my brother in the future. Why should I assist my brother? I'm the son. How can they give the family fortune to a daughter? Ryan retorted, furious and embarrassed. Chloe, you've always been cunning since you were little, good at charming elders, pretending to be sensible. I cut off my brother. Ryan, if I were a boy, you would have been out of the picture even sooner. Ryan choked. I continued, last year, Dad asked you to negotiate a partnership, and you just tossed the contract to your so-called professional manager. Turns out that manager was a corporate spy sent by our rivals, and the company suffered huge losses because of it. Have you forgotten about that? Silence on the other end of the line. After a long pause, his voice came through, muffled. I'm really not interested in business. If that's the case, then just be the Davis family heir. I smiled. Ryan, with me in charge, you'll still have all the dignity and comfort you deserve. With that, I hung up. That same day, Brittany, pregnant, stormed into the company looking for me. The security guards stopped her in the lobby, but she just sat on the floor, throwing a tantrum and wailing. Those two old fools are senile. I'm carrying their family heir, but they're giving all the family fortune to a bratty girl. There's no justice in this world. A sister stealing the family fortune from her own brother. Brittany's hair was a mess, her belly slightly protruding, as she cried to the onlookers. Passers-by, unaware of the full story, started pulling out their phones to record. Seeing this, Brittany cried even harder. Chloe Davis, get out here, come face me. I watched from the top floor on the security monitor and told my assistant, call the police, report her for disturbing the peace. Also, send all the evidence of her previous misappropriation of funds and external borrowing to the media. Understood. My assistant immediately got to it. I couldn't let Brittany damage the company's reputation. Before her tantrum escalated, I needed to take the moral high ground. As the police forcibly removed her, Brittany was still raving. Chloe Davis, I won't let you off. I won't let you off. That evening, my brother sent a text message. Just one simple sentence. Chloe, please let Brittany go. I didn't reply. Chapter 9. Brittany was detained for 7 days. The incident even trended on Ins, with the internet mocking and ridiculing Brittany. She had a golden ticket, a chance to become royalty, but she threw it all away. She literally asked for it. What was she even thinking? Why couldn't she just be a good Davis family wife? The one upstairs is right. She didn't want to be a well-behaved daughter-in-law, she wanted to be the queen of the Davis family. Just a few days after she was released, news came from the hospital Brittany had a miscarriage. Ryan called me that night. When I answered, his voice was so hoarse it was almost unrecognizable. Are you happy now, Ryan? This is her own doing. I replied calmly. At the time, I was at school, finishing my coursework. I needed to earn enough credits quickly to graduate early. I learned that Brittany's miscarriage wasn't just a simple one. It had also damaged her uterus. She would never be able to have children of her own again. I suddenly sighed. Ryan, you don't actually love Brittany that much, you just didn't want to lose. Ryan was a stubborn person. He always did the exact opposite of what mom and dad wanted him to do. A love that defied the whole world captivated him. Ryan almost fled from the conversation, hanging up the phone. 2 years later, I graduated from college. Immediately after graduating, I joined the company and formally began managing Davis Corp. Ryan hadn't returned home in those 2 years. He stubbornly clung to his so-called true love. Brittany became increasingly erratic, even publicly cursing Ryan on social media, calling him a pathetic loser. Finally, one day Ryan came to find me. He looked much older, with a scraggly beard, and incredibly dejected. Chloe, I'm divorcing Brittany. Under the moonlight, my brother and I stood facing each other. He continued, you were right 2 years ago, I didn't actually love Brittany that much. But, she was the only tool I had to break free from this suffocating family. He slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. Through the swirling smoke, I saw the tears of regret rolling down his face. Mom and Dad were always so disappointed in me. They demanded too much. Then as you grew up, their disappointment in me only grew. I lived in your shadow, it was so suffocating, so I wanted to escape. I carefully traced the contours of my brother's gaunt face. This was probably the first time I truly saw my brother clearly. So that's what he thought. Ryan eventually divorced Brittany. To secure the divorce, Ryan gave Brittany all his assets, leaving with nothing. Reporters even captured the scene of them leaving the divorce court. Brittany was even thinner, her cheekbones more prominent. She spat a huge gob of saliva at my brother. You pathetic loser, your entire net worth is only $2 million? Useless. You two are from the same mother, but you can't compare to your sister at all. If I were your parents, I'd choose her as the heir too. Only a dog would choose you. Ryan stood there, not refuting. He let Brittany's spittle land on his face, not even dodging. The sunlight that day was dazzling, casting his shadow long behind him. The reporter's cameras clicked, focusing on his face. Suddenly, he smiled at the camera, a smile of pure relief. I saw this photo in the financial news. The headline was sharp and biting. Davis heir leaves penniless, called loser by ex-wife. Mom looked at the photo, tears welling up. Your brother, sigh. I stared at the photo, suddenly recalling many childhood memories. Ryan used to love carrying little me on his shoulders, running all over the villa's backyard. His eyes would sparkle then, and he'd smile and say, my sister is the cutest little princess. When did things start to change? Perhaps it was the first time Dad said at a family gathering, Ryan is nothing like me. Or perhaps it was when people always compared me to him, saying, the sister is so much smarter. Or maybe it was when he realized that no matter how hard he tried, he could never meet the standards of an heir. He simply gave up, letting himself become a disappointment to everyone. Later, I heard that after her divorce, Brittany was taken back to her hometown by Kevin. Her family demanded she buy a house for her younger brother. She didn't keep a single penny of the $2 million. Once she was completely exploited, and because she couldn't have children, her family pointed fingers at her, humiliating her for freeloading. She couldn't bear it anymore and ran away. Someone saw her working in a manufacturing plant. The once glamorous Mrs. Davis, now wearing the cheapest work uniform, lost in a sea of people. Ryan still didn't choose to go into business. He came home and had dinner with us, then left with a simple backpack to travel. He said he'd had an epiphany. The life I want should be free, seeing different sights every day. I waved goodbye to my brother. Ryan, remember to come home. The end. And that's a wrap on today's reading here at Booked for Drama. If you felt anything, rage, swoon, secondhand heartbreak, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow drama lovers. If you have any requests, drop them in the comments. Until next time, keep reading, and keep the drama on the page.